Hello everybody, it's Mr. H. How you doing? Welcome to the Crusades. Now, just before we get started, I want you to go get a piece of paper. I'll wait for you, don't worry about it. Put on pause. All right, so I've assumed you've went and got a piece of paper. Draw two squares on it. Now, I got two squares. One, right west, and the other one, above it, right Islam. Let's go over to the western one. All right, divide that into four. European countries, go ahead. England, France, Portugal, Spain, right? These are independent actors pursuing their own objectives who don't like each other very much. They fight with each other all the time. Europeans fight with Europeans more than anyone else. Go to the other side, Islam. Divide that up into four. Here's some Muslim countries from that time. I'll help you out with this one. Fatimid Egypt, Seljuk Turks, Abbasid Caliphate, right? The Mamluk Turks there, four of them. Independent actors who don't like each other very much, who pursue their own objectives. They fight with each other more than they do anyone else. Muslims fight Muslims more than anyone else. Europeans fight Europeans more than anyone else. The fact that we even have crusades is kind of surprising. Usually not even close enough to fight with each other. All right, so it's not just a huge monolith, Western monolith against an Islamic monolith. Like I said, this thing has a lot of different cracks and fissures running through it. Keep that in mind when we talk about the Crusades. Alrighty, kickstarting the Crusades. It's the Battle of Manzikert. Seljuk Turks defeat the Byzantines in 1071. Frowny face. Greek Byzantines lose. Mr. H is forgetting some of his objectivity there. Alright, so objectively speaking, the Seljuk Turks defeat the Byzantines. Byzantine Empire is in some big trouble. The Seljuk tide is hurling its way right towards Constantinople, and not getting any help from anybody. Meanwhile, you talk about the Seljuk Turks. Let's talk about Egypt. Fatimid dynasty, that's the real superpower, right? The Turks are the ones that caused the Crusades without intending to, but the real superpower of the Islamic world is Egypt, the Fatimid dynasty. You don't have to know all of this, I just want you to look at it. All right, once again, remember, breaking the monolith. There's more than one Islamic power out there. Now, the objective is to save the Holy Land, Jerusalem. The Seljuks didn't occupy it, the Egyptians did. A little bit of a complicating factor. All righty, this fighting in Egypt looks pretty big, right? Now, your Seljuk buddies, one up here, and they're driving the Byzantines back towards Constantinople. All right, I got a better map here someplace. There we are. We got a better map right here. Pushing everything back towards Constantinople. So here you are, Byzantine Emperor. What are you going to do? You need some help. Who are you going to get it from? Could you play the Egyptians off against the Seljuks? Yeah, it might be possible, but I don't see it happening. All you got's the West to help you out, and you know they don't get along too well. Oh, man. Well, got to swallow your pride, man. Ask for help from the West. Pope Urban II loves the idea. He calls everybody together. Dus Volt, God wills it. Go on a crusade. All the poor people show up ready on a crusade following Peter the Hermit and Walter the Penniless. And everyone's going to get their sins washed away. All your property will be protected while you're gone, if you even have any. And, if you die, you go straight to heaven. Oh, the crusade is awesome. But you know the real reason why people are going, right? Remember we talked about the population increase? You got nowhere to go with these people? They've been fighting with each other over land and everything. Hey, why don't we turn them loose on the Muslims? All this problem, people here fighting and brawling, let's turn them loose on someone else, become somebody else's problem. If you're one of these guys with no land, you fight and you win land for yourself over here in the Middle East. It's a great idea. Awesome. So we got, Godfrey of Bouillon over here, Raymond of Toulouse. Look at this guy, Bohemond here. He's a Norman. You know what those people like. And you know they don't get along too well with the Byzantines. Byzantine Emperor Alexis Comnenus, this is the last guy he wants to see in this throne room. There he is. Hey, but it's okay. We're doing this for God. All right, all right, just get them out of here. Well, the first army that shows up are a bunch of peasants. They call it the People's Crusade. They were the poorest of the poor. Look like the guys you see at the bus station. And Alexis Comnenus just ships them across over here, and the Turks end up butchering them. Then the real army shows up with these guys commanding it. All righty, so the Byzantines make a deal. We send an army to help you because we know the area. Our Navy's going to help you out. Anything inside the pre-Manzikert frontier goes back to Byzantium. Everything beyond that's yours. Everybody loves this idea, and off they go. They fight the Turks here at a place called Dorylaeum and crush them. They continue their way down to Antioch, and suddenly, guess who? Bohemond over here decides he wants this for himself and says he's going to take Antioch for himself. Byzantines say that's supposed to go to us. He doesn't care. So the Byzantines make contact with the Turks. They're trapped in there and says, hey, you know they're going to butcher you, and this gate comes open, right? Yeah? So they make a deal with the Turks. They actually go on Byzantine boats and they get them out of there. And the Byzantines take it and they slam the door shut in the Crusaders' face. Crusaders aren't happy. The Byzantines say, hey, just keep going south. Anything you win down here belongs to you. So we're out of Seljuk territory. Now we're fighting Fatimid Egypt. Crusaders are going down along the coastline. Byzantines supplying it with the navy. We're going to make it down to Jerusalem. All righty, making a long story short, we've got a siege on Jerusalem. It's not easy. The Crusaders don't have a lot of siege equipment. Byzantines bring it to them. They even march around Jerusalem 3 times, hoping the walls fall like Jericho. Yeah, you're going to need that siege equipment, man. Anyway, they take down Jerusalem, 15th day of July, 1099, and like the good Christians they are, they proceed to kill everybody in the city. Yep, all dead. All Muslims, Jews, and even Christians who were there get butchered. When you lose control like that, you just chop everybody down. So, First Crusade ends victoriously for the West. Still got that piece of paper? Good, write this down for me. Put down 4 Roman numerals down the left side, or Arabic numbers, whatever you like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then up top, 1 column says West, 1 column says Islam. All right, so where First Crusade, put a check. So Crusade number 1 goes to the West. Now what happens when you beat somebody? Pittsburgh beats Baltimore. What's the next thing that's going to happen? Baltimore wants to get back at him, and Baltimore will lose again, right? Right? You want an A in this class? Yes, Steelers. Now, First Crusade, you're going to have a second one. Here it is, 1147 to 1149. Byzantines are starting to get their stuff back here, little by little. Seljuk's still there. Look at this, more Turks there. Dashamians and the Emirate of Damascus over here. Fatimids are starting to lose control of North Africa. See this long, complicated word? Just write Morocco. Alrighty, so here's Europe, the Holy Roman Empire. Neither holy nor Roman nor an empire. Don't let it fool you. It's all bunch bits and pieces. Look at this. Poland, Hungary, Russia, France, England. Hey, countries you recognize. Got a crusade that's happening over here in Spain as the Spaniards, Aragon and Castile, Leon, Portugal. They're pushing south. The Pope has decreed that this is a crusade as worthy as any others. Of course, this is the one that gets all the headlines. All right. Here you get to fight and win land for yourself. They've established Crusader kingdoms here, County of Edessa, Kingdom of Jerusalem. What kind of religious policies do you think are being pursued in these Crusader kingdoms? Yeah, Christianity, Islam, they get along fairly well. Well, because think about this. Remember the thing we talked about the Mongols? Further away you get, less Mongols. Further away you get, less Europeans. End up marrying local women. And before you know it, hey, we've got tolerance. Can't have that. Meanwhile, politics going to override everything. They took the Holy Land from you. I want it back. And that's what we're going to do. Because what's the objective of the crusade? In the West, it's to take the Holy Land from the infidel. In the Islamic world, take the Holy Land from, the infidel. Same thing. You're staring at a mirror. So crusade number 2 kicks off in 1147. Guy named Zengi. He's a Turk. Another guy helping him named Saladin comes a little bit later. So anyway, Zengi the Turk. They're going to take Odessa, and they start working their way down the coastline. We got Crusade number 2. And here we go. They're calling people from all over the place to come and fight to save the Holy Land. Jerusalem's going to fall, and this crusade doesn't work out very well. Nope. Crusade number 2, put a check under the column that says Islam. The score is tied 1-1. Byzantines are like, yeah, we got most of our land back, so they still help out, but they're not as invested in this one as they were the first time, right? The threat has kind of receded a little bit. All right, so we've got one crusade for the West, one for Islam. Here's Salah ad-Din, 1137 to 1193. First of all, he's not an Arab. He's not a Turk. He's actually Kurdish. He was a general for the Zengid Turks when Zengi was trying to create his own country in the Second Crusade. He conquered Egypt and created his own country, the Albiud Sultanate, 1174. Took care of Fatimid Egypt, did it himself. He's a Sunni Muslim, but not a fanatical Muslim. He has respect for the Christians, and he's very popular in the West. How does this guy have so much respect for Christianity? Well, the answer is right here, my friend. General for who? Turks. Fighting who? Conquered Egypt. Who's he fighting more than anyone else? He fights other Muslims. The man has like no contact really with the Christians. He sees them in Jerusalem, and that's about it. So he spent most of his life fighting other Muslims. So the Christians barely pop up on his radar until, they come looking for him in the Third Crusade. And here we are, Crusade number 3. This one's got the all-star cast over here. We got Frederick Barbarossa from Germany. Hey, World War II fans, that look familiar there, Barbarossa? All right, we've got Richard the Lionheart of England. Oh, does that sound slightly familiar? Robin Hood fans. Richard the Lionheart goes to fight in Crusade number 3. Who's he leaving charge back home? King John becomes a dictator. They force him to sign the Magna Carta. So Richard the Lionheart is going to be fighting. When he gets back, he gets captured and held hostage. That's why King John's there for a long time. And of course, here's Philip Augustus of France. Does not like Richard the Lionheart. England and France don't like each other. But hey, this is a crusade. We put our business on hold till later. And plus, you can kind of tell what kind of person Philip Augustus is. Look at his name. Augustus. The august one. The grand one. And he's French. Guy must be just totally insufferable. As you can see, the Byzantines aren't too happy about this stuff, but they lend support and do what they can. Hopefully these smelly Westerners will just go away. Now, they march their way through here, and Frederick Barbarossa dies in a bathing accident. He's taking a bath in a stream, and he drowns. And this is true because everybody always exaggerates a king's death. No one ever comes out and says he drowned in a bathtub. They're going to come out and yell, died heroically in battle. But I guess the story got out before anybody could change it. Now we got Richard the Lionheart and Philip Augustus of France. Put a siege on Acre over there. Going to work their way down to Constantinople. What's the problem here with Richard and Philip trying to share command? Yeah, they can't stand each other. English and French. Eventually, Philip gets mad and leaves. Takes half his army with him. Why only half? Where's the other half? How come they didn't go with him? Exactly, I'm here for money, gold, and land. It's okay, we'll put up with these English goofballs. Well, he puts a siege on Jerusalem, and Richard realizes something. He can't take Jerusalem. The walls are reinforced, it's too big. He's got food and water coming in from the Byzantines. And Salah ad-Din is looking over the wall of Jerusalem down there at the Crusader army. He realizes he can't beat it. It's too big an army. I mean, he's getting supplies over here from the east. So he just got a standoff. How do you resolve this? You don't. So they just made a deal. Jerusalem remains in Muslim hands. Christians can visit whenever they want. Not a big problem. Everyone's happy. On that third column, write tie, T-I-E, tie. Big capital letters, too, make sure. All right, so Crusade number 3 ends in a tie. Everyone's happy. Muslims keep Jerusalem, but Christians are allowed to visit. No problem. So this should have been the end of it, right? Should have been the end of the Crusades. Nope, let's talk about the 4th one. First thing you should notice, the map looks a little different, right? Now, there's a reason for that. This one stretches my objectivity, and you'll see why. Venice is a city-state, big trading empire. Here's one of their rivals, Zara, and of course the Byzantine Empire. Nobody called for the Fourth Crusade. There's no call for crusaders, no one shouting about the Holy Land. We've got 50,000 unemployed crusaders to send on Venice, and I asked the Venetians, take us to the Holy Land. To which the Venetians reply, how much money you got? Crusaders don't have any. Too bad. Problem is, though, you got 50,000 unemployed crusaders right in front of you. All right, so you got to do something with these guys. So they make a deal with them. How about you land and take Zara, and when you're done with that, we'll take you to the Holy Land. By the way, these are Christians. Just thought you should know that. So they land at Zara. They try, and they cannot get over the wall. Send a message back to Venice. Hey, get us out of here. We can't take the wall. Venice says, tough. Another message comes back. You know, you can come get us, or we can walk our way back to Venice. So Venice says, I got a better idea. We'll get you out of Zara. And the Byzantine Empire's got a civil war breaking loose right now. So if you want to make some money, why don't I drop you off there in the Byzantine Empire, win money and land, and we'll call it even. So the Crusaders are happy about this, and off they go. Land over here, Constantinople, one of the most confusing civil wars of all time. Byzantine, Crusader, Turkish mercenary versus Byzantine, Turkish mercenary, Crusaders. Yeah, not sure who's on whose side. I'm pretty sure everybody was staring at their scorecards. We're riding in the battle in this one. So they have their civil war over here, and one Byzantine faction wins. And Crusaders want their money. Oh, yeah, your money. Did you want it like now? Oh, you want your money now. I see. See, the problem is I don't have it with me right now. And see, and that's not going over too well with 50,000 unemployed angry Crusaders. So they ransack Constantinople. Completely demolish the empire. The Latin Empire, right here. That's what the Crusaders take, giving land to themselves. The Greeks have the Empire of Nicaea and the Empire of Trenzibon, claiming to be Byzantine emperors. In 1261, we get this back and reestablish the Byzantine Empire, but it is never gonna be the same. Now, in this whole tale of woe as the Fourth Crusade, who's missing? Group of people missing I didn't mention. What was the idea for the Holy Land? Was the whole idea for the Crusades again? Yeah, exactly. Liberate the Holy Land from the infidels. Nowhere near the Holy Land, I didn't see any Muslims anywhere. Turkish mercenaries, but they're mercs. They don't count. Right, I didn't even mention the Muslims in this, did I? So under that one, number 4, what I always write is WTF. Why did you bother going on a Fourth Crusade? Nowhere near the Holy Land. No Muslims to be found other than the Turkish mercenaries, and you have fought fellow Christians in Zara and the Byzantine Empire and done untold damage. Now, there's Crusades 5, 6, 7, and 8, or 9, depending who you talk to. Don't worry about those so much. The first 4 are the ones that really matter and have completely screwed everything up in the Eastern Mediterranean. We're going to talk about Turks. You've heard about Turks, and more Turks. They're all over the place. They're the guys that get the Crusades started. And you know what? Their Muslim brethren, the Arabs and Persians, aren't too crazy about seeing them either. We'll talk more about that in just a second, so sit back and digest the Crusades. Talking about Turks in just a bit.